On behalf of Siemens, standing here at the trade fair Intertraffic in Amsterdam, together with James Riley, product manager for enforcement in the mobility division, and today we only want to speak about enforcement as a service. James, we all know software as a service. Now Siemens offers enforcement as a service. What does that mean?
Basically, this is the whole transformation that we see that's occurring within the market, where in the past perhaps customers used to buy equipment in terms of cameras or servers, and then they would own that equipment directly and have to maintain that themselves. Now we see more of a cloud-based approach, both, as you say, within software, but also within the overall solution that perhaps the customer is looking for within enforcement, and this is what Siemens want to be able to offer directly to the customers.
Why do cities need enforcement as a service, James?
I think there's two main sort of driving forces that are going on. One is the speed of technology change. It never slows down. Technology is changing so fast that in order to keep up with that, to make sure you've got the latest versions of the servers, the fastest processors, the best cameras, this kind of thing, it becomes more and more difficult to achieve on your own. The second thing is security. In order to offer a robust and dependable solution that is always available, so the availability of the service is maximized, again it becomes increasingly hard for local authorities or governments to actually own that themselves. And so by the city or the government or the local authority using Siemens, then they achieve the ability to achieve all of those things, where Siemens take the responsibility on their behalf, and we of course can share that with all our customers globally and have the same infrastructure which we offer to each customer, now creating a specific solution just for them, for their enforcement needs. So we basically take away some of the pain of operating and maintaining a complex system and just give them the solution they need, for whether that's speed enforcement or anything else.
Okay, I think I got the overall idea. Could you give me some examples how it works and where it's used?
Well, we have a number of different things within enforcement. When we talk about enforcement solutions, we could be talking about just a low emission zone or a congestion charge, as well as what we call criminal enforcement, so speed enforcement, and also the civil enforcement, like things like bus lanes, yellow box junctions, where people aren't allowed to stop in a certain area and we detect if they are. Now, for almost all of those that I've just said, we already have examples where customers are using Siemens to provide the service to them as the total solution. Probably the biggest of those, where we're just celebrating the fact we for 10 years have been operating and maintaining the London congestion zone and the low emission zone, where Siemens again have over 600 camera sites, 1,500 cameras processing something like over 20 million vehicles per day back to our servers, and again we offer this solution direct to the customer. That's obviously a really big example. We have much smaller examples where we again provide still the total solution with just a few cameras, perhaps even for a low emission zone in a small village somewhere, where Siemens can then still provide their total solution.
Okay, that means that enforcement as a service is suitable for big metropolis as well as smaller cities, small villages?
Yeah, absolutely. It's completely scalable, whether that's just a few cameras right up, as I said, in London to 1,500 cameras. Maybe, as I say, a small city which wants to do a trial, like we're doing in one UK city at the moment, a trial on a low emission zone, and they simply are now collecting data to understand the impact of them installing it. All of their data is coming back to hosted servers by Siemens, and we then are able to generate reports directly to them to help make the best decisions for their city going forward of how to implement their pollution control effectively.
James, last question. Could you give a short forecast how enforcement as a service is going to develop in the future?
Well, we only see really good signs of growth globally here. There are some factors like legislation, which means that we have to be very careful where the data is held. For example, we're talking about evidence here, evidence which in the end is used in a court to process a penalty. So exactly where that evidence is stored, the country even in some cases, means that there are some limitations in some areas, but in general we see a really good growth in this area as people move to see the benefit of having us look after their solution and keep the system up to date, available 24/7, 365, and fully maintained.
Cool. Thanks a lot for your time, James.
Thank you.